Hi everyone, so today we're going to be looking at the unit circle in radians. So let me just kind of review what we did with the previous lesson on the unit circle. So if you remember previously, we identified that as 0 degrees. This was 90 degrees, correct? This was 180 degrees. This was 270. Okay. And then back to 0. Now, how would we identify that using radian? Well, if you remembered, we said that a full circle, and by the way, if you come all the way back, that would be 360, right? Okay, so if you do a full circle, it is 360 degrees. Well, the same idea applies with radians. We said that 360 degrees is 2 pi, correct? 360 is equivalent to 2 pi radian. So if you take that idea that a full circle is 2 pi, then you would say that half a full circle would be half of 2 pi, otherwise pi, right? And likewise, a quarter circle is half of pi, so that would be pi over 2, right? It would be pi over 2. Now, if you want to go down here to 270, well, you would have to go another pi over 2. It would be pi plus pi over 2, and that's equivalent to 3 pi over 2, or 1.5 pi, correct? It's 3 pi over 2 or 1.5. It's 0.5 pi, pi, 1.5 pi, and then 2 pi. Okay? Now, just knowing those angles right there in radian, let's take a look at the question. It says, what's the value of the x-coordinate of point A? All right, well, we know the x-coordinate is given by cosine, right? X is cosine of theta. Okay, it's cosine of theta, right? And then the y-coordinate, of course, was sine theta, right? But they didn't ask you for that here. So at this point A, they give us this angle of pi over 6. However, we can't use pi over 6 because that angle doesn't start from 0. Our angle has to start from 0 and go counterclockwise. So if we want to find the angle that this point A is created by, we would have to take this missing angle here, right? And we know that's pi over 2. And we would have to add that angle to sometimes it does that. We would have to take pi over 2 and then add it to pi over 6. Okay, so let's see what we get. That's going to be our theta right here. Our theta is going to be pi over 2 plus pi over 6. Okay? That's a 6. All right. So we need common denominators here. Well, if we want to get common denominators, the lowest common denominator, it's going to be, well, 2 and 6. That's a 6, by the way. I don't know. It's been doing this all day. Anyway, so it's going to be, I guess, 6. So you'd have to multiply the bottom by 3 and the top by 3. So it's 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 pi up here. 3 times pi is 3 pi. Okay, plus pi over 6. And that would give us 4 pi over 6, which is simplified to 2 pi over 3. That's our theta. Okay? Okay, so that's our theta. Now, so we want to find the x-coordinate of A, right? To find the x-coordinate at A, so we have an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate, correct? To find the x-coordinate at A, we would have to find the cosine of theta, which we just found out to be 2 pi over 3. Okay, so let's see if this answer is given as one of the choices. Okay, cosine of 2 pi over 3 is choice F. Let's check, and that is correct. Okay, let's go on to another problem. Here, this one is pretty easy. It's much easier than the other one because it's sitting right at the positive x-axis, correct? So again, we want the x-coordinate. All right. So they're asking us for the x-coordinate right here. So we know x-coordinate again. The x-coordinate is cosine of theta, right? It's cosine of theta. Well, at the x-coordinate, we know theta is 0. This is 0, right? It's 0 or 360 or 2 pi. So that's our value for theta. That's the angle. So in order to find x, we would just have to do x is equal to either the cosine of 0, or we would have to find the cosine of 2 pi, correct? So let's see what the choices are. It can either be cosine of 0 or cosine of 2 pi. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so it looks like we have the cosine of 0. Okay, so these angles here, these angles that are on the axes are the simplest angles, right? Because again, in radian, this is 0. 0 is still the same. Pi over 2, right? Pi, 3 pi over 2, and then back to 2 pi, which is a full circle. Now let's do the last one here. Okay, so we have points A, B, C are plotted on the unit circle, which are the coordinate is equal to cosine of pi. Okay, so remember, cosine of pi gives us the x-coordinate, correct? So they're looking for the x-coordinate here, and the x-coordinate at which point? Remember, the angle is 0, pi over 2, right? Pi. And down here again, it's 3 pi over 2. Okay, so they want the x-coordinate at the angle pi. So they're looking for the x-coordinate of point C. Well, at point C, what is the x-coordinate? The x-coordinate is -1, isn't it? Correct? So if you actually write that in coordinate notation, it would be -1, 0, right? At point C. So let's see if that answer is in there. Well, they just want you to say like x-coordinate of point C, right? They didn't ask you for -1, but we know it's the x-coordinate of point C, and that is correct. Okay, folks. All right. Hope that helped.